Greetings and good day, everyone, on this beautiful sunny day in June, year is 2026 in Southern California. I'm at the Lake Forest Cemetery, Ascension Cemetery of Lake Forest. Not far from here is Nicole Brown Simpson. She's buried not far from me. I did a video on her grave, I think it was a couple of years ago. But I want to do this guy. Now, this is something I've never done before in all the videos I've done. I'm going to talk about a man who was a client of mine in the mental health field. This man was a client of mine. That's why I've covered up his last name and his mother's name, just to maintain anonymity, which we're supposed to do in the field of mental health. And even though I don't work in mental health anymore, I'm still expected to maintain confidentiality. Generally, when people see the homeless, or especially the mentally ill homeless, or people that are struggling with drugs or alcohol, they at least subconsciously regard them as worthless. I can assure you folks that is not true. You have no idea of the enormous vocational talent that is walking around on our streets homeless. Now, David was a professional mechanic. And he was job searching to be a mechanic, but he had a problem. It was alcohol. I met David around about 2002, I believe it was 2002, in my little office in the homeless drop-in center. I helped a lot of clients get work. I and my associate, we did their resumes for them. We got them interview clothing. We drove them to and from job interviews. We followed up with them, see how they were doing once they were employed, and we had a large number of people getting jobs. However, David, as a professional mechanic, should not have had a problem, but he did. As an alcoholic, he had his priorities all, shall I say, his priorities were bad. It's too bad. I had high hopes for the guy. At the time, I was driving I had just finished driving a Geo Metro, and I had to get rid of it. And he told me about a problem with the thing, a technical problem with the thing that he couldn't possibly have known if he wasn't a trained mechanic. So I know this guy had talent, because he diagnosed my car without even looking at it, and I know it was the truth because another mechanic already told me. Shouldn't have had a problem, but the alcohol, it reduced him to the street. Now, at the time when he died in 2005, it's 21 years ago, he was in a rehab program, but he wasn't staying sober. From what I heard, he died in public, not far from a dumpster. Probably alcohol poisoning. 45 years old. He threw his life away. How hard did he try to get sober? I don't know. I wasn't involved in his rehab program. I was just involved in helping him get work. But he could have accomplished so much. He'd still be alive today had he been serious about rehab. The Epistle of Paul to the Ephesians, chapter 5, verses 17 and 18, gives us wise advice, which I think every client in rehab should heed to. Paul said, "Do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Do not be drunk with wine, which is debauchery," meaning it's excess. I would say it's self-destructive. Be not drunk with wine, which is self-destructive, but be filled with the Holy Spirit. And, David could have chosen that path, but he didn't. He chose to die with his addiction. Every county and every city in the world is full of stories like this. Stories which don't need to be. Folks, don't drink. Don't do drugs. Please, please, if you drink, stop. Because you never know when you may join David in death. And you don't want to do that. Because alcohol not only affects the alcoholic, it affects families, it affects communities. And if you get in a car crash while drunk, the effects really, really reverberate. Be sober. Be kind to yourself. Don't be self-destructive. Stay sober.